This is Scott from Ascora Games, and he's here to show us Kaigan.
I'd be happy to. Okay, the game is based on the work of Tadadaka Inu, who was a very famous cartographer in Japan. In the year 1800, he started a project which created the first scale map of Japan. It was so well done that it became the definitive map of Japan for 100 years. There wasn't a better map made until then. So in this game, we have each of the players has a team of surveyors who are sending out to different parts of the island to map it, hoping to gain you more honor than the other players. The player with the most honor at the end of the game wins. Okay?
Okay.
The game is played over 5 rounds, and in each round there are 5 phases. Okay? Every player starts the beginning of the game with the same 6 action cards, just different color backgrounds, and 10 ryo, 10 coins. These were the coins of the time. The golem's worth 5, the silver one's worth 1.
Are they actually based on the coins of the time?
They're actually based on the coins of the time.
They are so gorgeous, and I know I could hold these up. You could not see all of the details, the scratchings, the engravings.
Yeah,
they're
actually
beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Actually, this is, I found this from the designer, and basically he had made a self-made prototype, and I was so thrilled by seeing this. I thought, I have to turn this into a game that other people could see.
Yeah, that's the greatest money ever. I mean, I've never seen money like that in a game. People are going to be impressed with that.
We actually did a lot of research for different parts of the components to make them authentic.
I can tell.
Okay? there is a lot of theme in this game.
Yeah, there is.
So we'll go over what happens in each round. In the first round, the players will take turns playing their action cards on this board to sort of decide what they're going to do in this period. So we play this counterclockwise, 1 card at a time. So for example, on my turn, I might take this card, and I get to choose. It's not done randomly. I place the card maybe here, and then maybe the yellow player will play a card there, etc., etc. Oh, we missed green. Green had a turn too. And maybe I'll play another card too. When it comes around to yellow's turn, maybe yellow will play a card here, maybe yellow will play a card here. After you play a card, you have the option of claiming one of the rows, one of the action rows, one of these rows. It then becomes yours. So but you must play a card first. You play a card, then you claim a row. So maybe yellow played here and decided to claim this row. You don't have to claim a row that you have played a card in. Maybe play this one or claim this one. Oh, and I should say that this board shows you everything you need to know to play everything you need to know to play the game. Everything's with symbols. It's language independent. Okay. So maybe yellow has claimed this row. Once yellow claims this row, they can no longer play action cards in this phase, and no one else can play cards in the yellow player's row. Okay, this is basically sealed out. But now the other players are going to continue playing until all the rows have been claimed. Okay, so yellow is out, so now green goes. Maybe green goes here. Maybe red goes here and claims this row. And then blue goes here and doesn't claim a row. And then green goes here and claims this row, and now blue can only play cards in this row. So they have a choice now. They can maybe play this card here, and maybe this card here. And now they're forced to claim the row. They have no option but to claim this row. Once all the rows have been claimed, we resolve the actions one at a time from top to bottom, from left to right. The order is crucial in this game. It's very important in this game. So, and actually, just for example, I'm going to switch this.
Okay.
So now we resolve the actions, not by the player who played the card, but by the player who claimed the row. So in this case, yellow gets to do this action. So yellow would do this action, and then it's returned to the red player. Green does this action. Red does this action. Blue does this pre-printed action. You cannot play cards on spaces where people have already played or on the pre-printed spaces. So blue does this action. And then now yellow did not have a card here, so they just have to skip a turn or pass this turn. We keep on going one at a time till all the actions have been resolved, and that's what it shows here in the second phase. So the first phase was play a card and then optionally choose a row. Second phase, resolve all the actions.
Okay. Yeah,
one at a time.
the icons are very helpful here.
They explain everything
really well.
This is something we added as opposed to the prototype to make it easier for everyone.
Nice.
So let me explain now what all the different actions do. Okay. This card lets you work on your artistic talents. So if you had played this card, maybe I was the green player, I would improve my artistic ability by 1. Okay.
And this is your artistic row.
This represents my artistic ability.
Okay.
Okay. The second row represents your relationship with the local governments, which is important to get work done. Okay. So if I had chosen a row with this action, I would increase my relationship with the local governments. Okay. This card allows me to choose. I can either take 3 coins from the bank or spend 3 coins to either increase my artistic ability or my relationship with the government or my distance traveled, which is represented by the horse, this third track. So if I chose that, I would move forward 1 space on the travel track.
Excuse me?
Or I could spend 8 coins to receive 4 honor points. And that's actually the objective of the game, to have the most honor at the end of the game. I know other games it's prestige or victory points, but this is a Japanese themed game, so what's important there is honor. Okay. This card allows me to send my surveyors around the island. Okay, so maybe I'm going to spend 5 coins, Rio, to send these 2 surveyors.
And you said that would be like 1 of the golds?
That would be 1 of the golds or 5 of the silver.
Okay.
I could dispatch 2 of my surveyors for 5 coins. So maybe I'll put 1 there and 1 there. Or I could have spent 8 to put all 3 on the board. Later on in the game, once my surveyors are there, I could use this card to move them from one area to another if I wanted. They don't have to come from my personal supply.
Okay.
So this is that one. This card allows me to pay to have my surveyors survey part of the area where they are. So for example, I could spend 2 coins to have this surveyor do 1 bit of work.
Right.
Okay. Or I could spend 6 to have 1 surveyor do 2 pieces of mapping in that area. Okay. These numbers represent how much work it takes to map that area. So I can never have more markers than those numbers on the tiles. Okay. My last action card gives me a choice. I can either spend 3, 6, or 9 coins to have 1, 2, or 3 of my surveyors do work. So maybe I had 3 surveyors out there. I could spend 3, 6, 9 coins to do that, or I could have spent 10, 20, or 30 to do 2, 4, 6 units of work. So that would cost me 10, 20, 30 coins. That's very expensive, but this is very powerful. Okay? Also, all of the cards have a secondary ability. It's the same for all the cards. So for example, if I maybe have this card here in this row, somebody put this there, I claim this row, and I don't really want to do that action, I can always choose to do its secondary action, which is to spend 2 coins to send 1 surveyor into an area on the board. Okay?
Okay.
So once we resolved all the actions, then we go to the third phase where Tadadaka Inu, the famous surveyor, helps out with some of the mapping. Okay, and this adds a little bit of luck to the game. It's not a lot, and you can actually choose to make this a purely strategic game and not play with this phase. Okay. You can make it purely strategic, but I've actually found some people are, I actually am one of those people that sometimes I'm afraid with a lot of luck. But this one, people tend to actually like this. It adds a little bit, because it moves the game along a little bit. Makes the game move a little bit faster. Okay? So with 4 players, we roll 2 dice. With 3 players, we roll 3 dice. Let's say we're playing with 2 players. Playing with 4 players, so we'll roll 2 dice. And just for example, let's say we ended up with 1 and 4.
Yeah.
Okay? That means Tadadaka Inu is going to help in the 1 region. So we put 1 cube on each of those, and 1 each on the 4 tiles. If these were both, say both 4s, we'd have put 2 and 2. Okay? Perfect. And again, we can never have more. These are mapping markers than the tile number shows. Okay? After we do that, then we resolve the tiles that have been fully mapped, the areas that the surveyors have completely mapped. Okay? So we look at the ones where there's a number of markers equal to the number on the tile. In this case, for example, actually just to make it easier for me, a quick good example, let's say, you can actually resolve them in any order you want to. Usually people do it from the left to the right. Let's say we're going to resolve this one. Okay? So this requires 2 units of mapping to be complete. It's got 2, so we're going to score it. And this actually shows you how you resolve the scoring. So for each marker that you have contributed to the tile, that improves your ability that it's shown on the tile. So here there's blue has 2 markers. They would improve their artistic ability by 2. Okay? And that's what it shows right here.
Yep.
For each marker, you improve that ability. And then you receive honor points for the number printed on the card. So in this case, blue contributed to the mapping. Blue receives 2 honor points. Okay, now the tile is complete, so these would be returned to the player. This is taken out of the game, and we'd put a new tile on the board, which it turns out to be the same one. Okay, if there's more than one player on here, it's resolved the same way. In this case, red would improve their artistic ability by 1. Blue would increase by 1, and they would each get 2 honor points.
Friendly tie.
Friendly tie. Now, there is something in this game. Let's say, you also don't have to have your surveyors on the tile to score it.
Right.
It only matters who's done the work, because you could send your surveyor in there, do the work, and then move them someplace else. Very common to do. Let's say it was something like this, where blue and red contributed to the work. Yellow has a surveyor there, but they didn't do any work. They didn't do any of the work, they don't get any honor. It's not very honorable just having to there and do no work. So only blue and red would receive would increase their art and receive honor for that. Yellow would receive nothing, and then this tile's resolved, these go back.
Yep.
So you do have to absolutely watch what your opponents are doing strategically. That's why order is very important there, because you can go in there and basically undercut somebody else. Okay? So that's how it works. It's the same with the government tiles. So you receive, say, in this case, the blue player would improve their relationship with the local governments by 2, red by 2, and they would each receive 4 honor points. Travel is scored a little bit differently. Okay? Let's say it's like this. In this case, red would increase the distance they've traveled by 2. It's for each marker, and it shows right down there. There's for travel. Blue by 1. But the honor points are scored differently. The honor you receive is this number plus the amount you've mapped there. So in this case, red would receive 3 plus 2, 5 honor points. Blue would receive 4.
Perfect.
Okay, so that's how travel is a little bit different, and it'll make sense later why that's a little bit different. Okay, after we've resolved all the complete tiles and replaced them with new tiles, we receive our income. And you receive income based on your artistic ability and your relationship with the governments. You sort of sell your artistic work on the side, and the government sends some business your way. So let's say, after a little bit, after you're playing, it looks something like, let's say something like that. The income you receive is the number on the artistic track plus the number on the government track. So in this case, yellow would score 11 plus 0, 11 coins. Not score, I guess, receive 11 coins from the bank. Red would receive 5 and 3, 8. In this case, blue would receive 2, and green would only receive 1 coin. Okay? And that would be the end of the first round. We move the marker to the next round. The second round, and actually these would all be empty because we've resolved all the actions. I should say there's one card. Well, actually, let me just quickly explain these spaces. This is just like the card. You improve your government, your art. You receive 2 honor. Here you receive 5 coins. Here, this is the quadrant card, the tool. So when we're resolving this row, the player who has claimed this row just takes this card. It has 3 uses. The first use is it means you'll be the start player in the next round.
Which is important.
It's important you get the first choice of where you want to play your cards. It has 2 other uses, which I'll explain in just a little bit. Okay? So on the second round, it proceeds the same as the first round with one slight exception. We do phase 1, 2, 3, 4. When we get to 5, we receive our income, and that's what this chart shows for the rounds. We receive our income, and then we receive a little bit of honor as well. You receive honor for your artistic ability. In this case, green would receive 1, blue would receive 1, red would receive 3 for your artistic ability. You'd also receive a little honor for your developing relationships with the local governments. It's the player who's in the lead receives 2 honor. The player who's in second place receives 1. So in this case, yellow would receive 2, red would receive 1, green and blue receive nothing. And then because control of the local governments rise and fall over time, the government track resets. Okay, you form this great relationship with the local government, but time passes, they're not in power anymore.
You gotta keep going.
So you have to decide during the game. It's difficult how to decide how you want to devote your resources to either your art, government, whatever combination, because the government pays out much more quickly in higher numbers and art a little bit slower. But this never resets. Okay. So that's what it shows here.
Yeah.
So and then
Great
for the
icons,
government,
it's
it
very
shows
clear,
it resets at the end of this round. Third round is the same as the first. You just receive income at the end. Fourth round, income and a little bit of honor, and government resets. Fifth round, no income, and that's important. Okay, very important. And then we receive honor at the end of the game. End of the game, honor scoring. The player who has the quadrant card at the end, and I should say at the end of each round, this is returned back here. So it's basically the person who claimed this row in the last round would receive 1 honor point for this. You receive honor for your artwork, just like before. Same thing, honor for your relationship with the governments, first place and second place. And now, and only now, you receive honor for your standing on the travel track. So the player who's traveled the furthest receives 8 honor. That's a big jump.
Deal,
Second place 5, third place 2. So during the game, the travel tiles, the travel areas, aren't going to be paying you out to improve your abilities, but it'll help you at the end of the game. So you have to decide to balance which areas you want to devote your surveyors to. Okay. In addition, for any remaining surveyors that you have on the board that haven't completed a tile, you receive 1 honor. For every 2 cubes left over on the tile, on the board, you receive 1 honor. The player with the most money at the end of the game receives 5 honor. And remember, you didn't receive money at the end of that round. The player with the least money loses 3 honor. This is why it's crucial to manage your money during the game. It's very challenging. You can spend all your money to do the most stuff, but then it really will hurt you at the end of the game. So you have to balance that. So now the 2 other things about this card that I need to explain. The first is it gives you 1 honor at the end if you're holding on to it.
Sure.
Second, during the phase where we're playing our action cards, let's say I'm the blue player and later on in the game and I have the quadrant card. I'll be the first player when we are playing our action cards. Maybe I play here, yellow plays here, green plays here, red plays here. This card, if I have the quadrant card, allows me 1 time in this phase to pass. So instead of playing an action card, I just return this card to that space and I don't play an action card. And honestly, the first time I played this, I didn't really understand the importance of that. But the other players still have to play now. And when it comes around to me, I have a little bit more choices for my turn than they do. So now they only have 3 cards, 3 or 4 cards, 4 cards to play this turn. I have 5 cards to choose
more choices.
from. I have a little bit more choices.
Right.
So that's it. We play until the end of the 5th round, and then the player with the most honor points wins the game.
I can't recommend this game enough. It is awesome. The illustrations are beautiful.
Thank you so much.
So much.
My pleasure.
Oh my
Thank
gosh,
you for letting me explain it. I appreciate it.
Thank you.